Recorded live with little or no editing. It's Defense Up. I'm Run 7. How you doing? Today, we're going to be going over ChrisC's account. We grade on 5 different criteria. It's who you're using, their place with their power levels, their ISOs, and what kind of mood I'm in. I'm a little peeved because I just screwed up a Defense Up video, and I couldn't do anything about it. So we're going to be doing some more Defense Up on Thursday. Okay, so team number 1 is a Hydra 1.0 with Fortifier across the board. I like it. This looks great. You've got the right people in here. There's a case to be made for using Grenadier in these builds because he's got some synergy with Zemo, but if you don't plan on ever using Grenadier with Zemo, then this is the way you go. I'm going to give you an A for this team. It's a great team. Lots of value because you can put a small amount of investment in the team, and your opposition has to put more of an investment to come back into it. And it's rare that we find those kinds of defenses. Team number 2, Fantastic Four with SheHulk. We have SheHulk to the outside. That is correct. You put her as a healer. That's okay. You could make her a fortifier or a skirmisher. Anything really works. She doesn't have a lot of synergy. You've got 2 strikers, 2 skirmishers. Everything about this team is great. Looks like we're going to have to build up Sue Storm to gear tier 14, but don't do that until we know exactly where the Knowhere event is. Oh, gear tier 15? Wait until we know about the Knowhere event before you do that. This is an A team. You're doing everything right here. Team number 3 is the AIM team. This is a fill it and forget it team. You went with Monstrosity instead of Researcher. I personally like Researcher better, but you probably have, unless you have Researcher built up to the same as Monstrosity, just leave them in here. It's who cares kind of team. You did make them war ready. That's kind of cool. You got Fortifier on AIM security, and I think you should have gone with a healer. She has healing in her kit and heals adjacently, and it's very valuable there. And then you put Fortifier on Scientist Supreme. There's a good case to be made. I'm not going to dock you for this. That's because when people go into this team, they try and take out Scientist Supreme early so that she doesn't revive anybody. So that's not a bad choice, making her a Fortifier. Otherwise, you should go with a healer. Let's see, Skirmisher on the middle person there. I forget their name, and I don't even care because they're not that important. But yeah, this is great. I like what you're doing here. I'm gonna go A- just because I would have liked to have seen the healer ISO on AIM security, but don't bother changing it. The investment is already too much. Okay, this is a garbage team here, the Guardians. They are one of the worst teams in the game at this point, and now we have to build up Star-Lord and Rocket. Again, wait for the facts about Knowhere. Let's see what those rewards are. If they're not gonna give us a lot of gold, it may not be worth it to take them to G15. You went Striker, Skirmisher on the 3-piece with Groot. I like that. You're not going to get as much value with that on this team because they might be calling in Mantis or Drax, and then it debilitates that combo. However, you could make Drax a Skirmisher, and then it'll probably all still work the same, I think. I don't remember. But I think a better thing to do is actually just replace Mantis and Drax. Use Drax on other hybrids, put Mantis in the dumpster. She just isn't any good anymore. But I think Mantis should be a healer wherever she gets used, but don't change her. She's not worth it. It's actually kind of surprising that you have the ISOs up this high on this team because this team is trash. You're doing a lot of things right. I would like to see you use 2 other people in there instead of Drax and Mantis. It doesn't really matter, though. I'm going to give you an A- for this. Just kind of a garbage team, really. Okay, Web Warriors. You went Raider across the board and Striker on Miles. I think that's fantastic. Some people are doing Skirmisher on OG Spider-Man. You don't have to. That's just if you feel you need the focus boost at the high end of raids, I think. Otherwise, you're doing everything right here. Placement on this team doesn't matter so much. You do have Punk and Ghost to the outside, and I think that's probably where they should go, but it's not such a big deal because there's no tanks, and what you're going into this usually doesn't do chain attacks. It usually does AoEs that you go into this with. So it is what it is. I'm going to give you an A for it. I kind of like it. Get those power levels leveled out a little bit more, and you'll be doing fantastic. Team number 6 is a skill military on defense with Captain Marvel giving him the military boost. It's a good team. It's something you can use. You know, if you don't want to put tons of T4s in this team, you can throw them in on defense, and your opponents don't know what kind of T4s you have in there for sure, so they don't know how to approach this. Your power levels are a bit wonky. However, Yelena is not worthy of gold gear, in my opinion. Red Guardian, especially on this team, is, however, you might think about taking him up to 14. You have 2 people laying out vulnerables, 2 people soaking them up. I think that's pretty good. Yeah, I like everything you're doing here. This is fine. I can give you an A for this. You're just barely getting away from an A-, though. I would like to see some adjustment in the power levels, although the team really isn't worthy of investing heavily in, unless you're kind of an old school player and you like to use them on offense, maybe. Okay, team number 7 is the Mercs with Shuri. I think you should change placement with Shuri and Killmonger. Shuri usually, nobody even targets Shuri usually because she's oftentimes much bigger than the rest of the team like she is on this. And so they just leave her for last because she's not doing any damage at all. I mean, technically, she's technically doing some damage, but you know what I mean. Otherwise, yeah, I think that's pretty good. I think you're getting some good placement on this other than that one. I like the Skirmisher Striker setup. That's fantastic. I don't see enough people do that. You get so much value out of the Skirmisher Striker setup with the Mercs. Yeah, it's looking good. Be sure to check out my top 10 video that just released maybe yesterday at the time of this one's release. I'm not sure, for some alternative ideas of what you can do with this team. I'm going to go ahead and give you an A- for this, just that placement swap. And then maybe Lieutenant needs a little bit of power. You know, keep him from being knocked under 50% by another team. Again, check out that other video. You might not need to change anything, so do that. Okay, team number 8 is an Inhumans with Emma. That's fine, I guess. I think there's better things to do with Ms. Marvel. I think I like the duo of Black Bolt and Yo-Yo with no other Inhumans. I think that has a lot of value. But then throwing in Crystal really does help with that, you know, heal, revive, not revive, but heal mechanic that she does when they drop below. And then Ms. Marvel is just a tank, and I don't know, you got her built up enough. It's not bad. You only got one Striker Hero Brawler, so not a whole lot of, you know, double taps there. Yeah, it's okay though. It's okay. I think there's better things to do with this team, but you're not wasting anything. So I'm gonna go ahead and give you an A for this. I just think that you could do, I think you could build better teams with these pieces, but it's okay, something to do. All right, team number 9, what the heck? Oh, okay, I see. We replaced Black Widow with Coulson. This is something that we haven't done in a while. This is kind of an older version of this. I personally like Heimdall in there in place of Coulson, in place of Black Widow. He protects this team from, or protects Thor from being blinded, which reduces one of the counters coming into this team. Wow, we're getting lots of follows and Sen Ravens now rating and all sorts of kind of stuff. Thanks for that, Sen. So the placement on this is okay. I think you should probably swap Coulson and Thor. But ultimately, I think you should put Heimdall in here as a better build. Coulson adds some value to the shield members, giving them a health boost. I think we used to put Coulson in place of Thor when we ran Thor on the Asgardians. I think that's where that was at. And then you had, yeah, and then you had 4 members with shield tags. So the only one he wasn't boosting was Hulk. So yeah, I mean, you got a pretty hefty investment in Coulson. You might think about putting Coulson on this team, like in place of Ms. Marvel, and then you could put Heimdall in on this team. And that way it'll free up Ms. Marvel if you want to go after that YA team. Something to do. Let's see, healer, striker, raider, skirmisher. I like those ISOs. That's great. I think it's fantastic. You got one person putting out vulnerables, or no, 2 people putting out vulnerables, 1 person soaking them up. So Coulson's going to crit and rewind turn meter. That's a good setup. I like that. I'm going to go ahead and give you an A for this team. I would like to see that placement swap, but I'm feeling generous today. All right, team number 10, Heroes for Hire. Luke Cage, as far away from Shang-Chi as possible. You went Fortifier, Healer, Striker, Skirmisher, Raider. That's good enough. I'm gonna give you an A for that team. It's a good build. I personally like Skirmisher on Iron Fist, but Healer is good also. Just remember, there's 1 and going to be 2 teams that come into this with heal block and stuff, lots of trauma and things like that. So the healer on Iron Fist isn't going to get as much value as a vulnerable on the field from Iron Fist would. And that's why I recommend that. But it's still pretty good. You know, when you go into this with Infinity Watch, she's getting some work done with that healer ISO. Okay, yeah, this has been ChrisC's Defense Up video. If you like what you saw, you know, hit that like button, and remember, don't just have a good game, be good to yourselves and others too, and I'll catch you next time. Bye.